2 years ago today, the Supremely Compromised Court ruled against women's rights to bodily autonomy and privacy by overturning Roe v. Wade in the Dobbs-Jackson case, stating that the Constitution does not confer a woman's right to abortion. We have one person to thank for that, and so I am going to give credit where credit is due.
Trump is going to make a determination what he thinks is great for the country and what's fair for the country. But the fact that I was able to terminate Roe v. Wade after 50 years of trying, they worked for 50 years. I've never seen anything like it. They worked, and I was so honored to have done it. Well, I did something that nobody thought was possible. I got rid of Roe v. Wade. And by doing that, it put pro-lifers in a very strong negotiating position. Nobody did a job like I did, including Roe v. Wade, bringing it back to the states. What I did by killing Roe v. Wade, which everyone said was impossible.
All it took was one presidency and a few dedicated Federalist Society foot soldiers to make the far-right fever dream a reality for all of the women in America. But it is not just Donald Trump and the Supreme Court that we can thank for this, because there is a long line of Republican women as well. Even Nancy Mace, who alleges that she is a survivor of sexual assault, and yet she continues to support Donald Trump, who is convicted of sexual assault.
When you look at this, a woman service member who's stationed at Fort Drum in upstate New York, for example, has more access to abortion services and reproductive health options. A woman who's stationed at Fort Hood in Texas has to travel to get those same services. Do you think that's fair?
Well, it doesn't. Nothing in here would prohibit a woman from traveling out of state to follow state law. And so I think that's, a really important message.
And we can't forget about Trump VP contender Kristi Noem, who doesn't think that abortion should be legal under any exceptions for any circumstances. She was most recently in the news for killing her dog, but that's another story for another day.
Marks the 2-year anniversary of the catastrophic Dobbs decision. 2 years since 6 conservative justices toppled Roe v. Wade, since our right to choose was taken from us, and pregnant women and people across the country have had their lives at risk. It's been 2 years since our freedom over our bodies was seized by the most corrupt Supreme Court in American history. And that court itself was appointed by the most corrupt president in American history, Donald Trump. And it is precisely because of Donald Trump and his corrupt court that women and girls and pregnant people have less rights today in 2024 than our parents and grandparents did. And I have a message for this conservative court and to Donald J. Trump. We do not consent. The women and people of this state do not consent. And the women and people of this country certainly do not consent to Donald Trump. That's right. Nor this corrupt court that he has enabled. And we are the front line of our democracy. We will have our day. We will write our story. And we will have the right to choose, not just with our bodies, but at the ballot box too. And the only way that Republicans will get this message is when the people of this country decisively elect majorities in Congress, re-elect Jackie Rosen, and again, re-elect Joe Biden in Congress. This is not a game, Las Vegas. Every single one of us has our story of choice, of looking at a crossroads and deciding how we want to proceed, whether it's contraception, IVF, abortion, family planning, or any or none of the above. These are our essential freedoms that unlock agency over our lives, and it is up to us to defend them, to restore them, and to codify them as the law of this land. They have given us no other choice but to win.
We could very easily reverse all of this and restore reproductive rights and freedoms to women and girls all across America. All we have to do is get supermajorities in Congress, the Senate, and maintain the presidency. I'm Vanessa Branda, reporting to you for Really American.